Morning, squad. Um, so hope you're well. Um, I may have to finish this session early. Um, just figuring out something, a slight logistical change to the programming today. What I'll do, I'll carry on chatting as usual. I have got a topic that I'd like to discuss. Hello, hello, Jethro. Hello, Marco. Omar, sorry. Hope you're well. Oh, it's green, right? That's because you're special. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, Aaron. How we doing? About to coach at 7 a.m. Lovely. Good stuff. So listen, we have got Facundo on later on the show. And there may be a slight change to that, and I'm just finding out now. So it might be that in a bit I need to move on the throne. Nice. I might need to cut it short and skip over to Clinton channel. But we're all good for now. So hope your day's going well. It is 11:30 in the morning here, so we're a few hours ahead, obviously. Jethro, I'm glad you said you're going to coach. And Omar before the 5 a.m. box. Nice. Awesome. Getting it done in the mornings out of necessity, I'm assuming, rather than choosing to. Because if you choose to get up for no reason, you're clearly wired differently. So yeah, good. All good. So 11:30 is like 5:30. Yep. Yeah. It's 11:30 here. 11:30 a.m. Is your 5:30. Right. So let me just put that there. Sorry. Just doing some admin. Now, so the title for the show is The Best Gym Ever. All right. I mean, it's DC. I'm assuming that's Washington, DC. Yeah, the show for this is The Best Gym Ever. And the picture that I posted is actually a picture of this castle here, which is in Peel, which is where I was christened as a young lad. And I live 5 minutes away. And it's part of my ancestry, so it means a lot to me. So I've been doing a lot of reading up and education the last sort of few weeks. I am studying for my L3 after bloody 11 years of having a L2. I thought probably now's the time. So I'm reading up on it, and I got to be honest, the information is quite sporadic. Now there is a central hub for it, but some of the links aren't optimal. The information is kind of spread out a lot. It's not very specific. It's more of a, here's the library, go and find the books. They're somewhere over in that direction. Hello, Jody. Hope you're well. So I think I've got to the point where I've printed off everything that I want to print, and I've got a lot of electronic stuff able to read online. There's a lot of videos to watch. There's a lot of links. So obviously to that stuff you can't really print off. But as anyone that's done any of the courses knows, preparation is king. So one of the things that kind of links in this week, and I'm going to ask Facundo today about this a little bit because he's obviously was seminar staff, very respected coach, very influential man, very knowledgeable. I want to ask him about the gym environment. Good morning, sir. Hope it went well this morning. So I wasn't able to make it. I was coaching and teaching my children. Does the L3 cost us? No. So it costs, it's in dollars. So it's $150 to register to apply. And you have to have certain criteria to be able to apply for it. And then it's $500 to actually book your date. And how it works is there's by Pearson View, I think they're called. They're a testing center, so there's computers in cubicles, and there's testing centers all around the world. And CrossFit uses those booths. You go in, and you basically get given a pencil and a bit of paper to go into your cubicle, and then you have 4 hours to partake in the exam and to do the exam. And then you get an instant yes or no. But you don't get told what you got wrong or right. You just get a yes or no. So that's the pressure point. Now, everyone that's taken it and passed it, their only feedback on all of it is know everything. Read up as much as you can. Spend every hour that you can obsessing over the information available, which obviously makes perfect sense. Exactly. It makes perfect sense. I will say I was a terrible student at school, academically abysmal, attention span of a goldfish. Even now, I'll sit down, I'll try writing notes, and in 10 minutes, I'm doing burpees or whatever. It's tough, but that's the whole purpose of it. And I think you can make excuses, you can say, oh, it doesn't suit me, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You have to adjust. I was telling my daughter this morning. She fell over and grazed her hand. You know, when you fall over and it goes down the middle and a bit of blood and her elbow's scuffed. I was telling her you have to accept it for what it is, find a route through and move. You can't sit and twiddle your thumbs and feel sorry for yourself. You've got to get up and get it done. Anyway, so L3, all the principal stuff is there. It's all available at the journal website. It's all available, all the links, all the articles, everything's there. Now, after 2012, 13 years of this, of being an L1 or L2, 11 years being an L2, this will be the first time that I've done an exam specifically for CrossFit, but an exam, really, I think, as a 40-year-old guy. My pressure, my focus, the way that I test myself is daily dealing with people on the front line. That's what that is. So I'm not about to do it. I haven't booked it yet. I've got a little bit of time to get it done, but I've applied and I've had it accepted, so I'm about to do it. Arguably should have done it a while ago. So in what would it have been? 2019? No. Yeah, it must have been 2019. I was due to renew my L2. So I did my L2 originally in 2014. Did my L1 a couple of years before that. You get a lot of people rushing through with all these exams and the qualifications. And I don't see the point in trying to get them done. I wanted to get a load of actual applicable on the floor frontline experience before I did all of this. 2019 came around and I needed to do my L2 in the December was when I had to do it. And then that's when my neck burst. So this scar here, see it? That's the operation. They went in to replace a couple of discs in my neck at the back here. So between C5 and C7, the two there have been replaced. That happened in the month that I was supposed to do my L2. And CrossFit very kindly managed to postpone it. They said, all right, we'll give you 6 months. And of course, we all know what happened in early 2020. So I ended up doing my L2 over Zoom in December 2020 to between Canada, India, and Australia. They timed it. So it ended up being a 3 o'clock in the morning start for me. Sorry, midnight start for me, and ending. So it was a 4 hour few nights on the trot. So that was December 2020. And 5 years later, I'm supposed to do it. But I was supposed to do my L3 then, and I didn't get around to doing it because of my neck and all that. So they postponed it, and I did my L2 in the following year. I mean, I was in my living room downstairs. My kids were 1 and 2 then. No, 1 and 3, sorry. And they were upstairs asleep in a 2 up, 2 down tiny room in the outskirts of London. And I had my headphones in, and I was doing med ball cleans, snatches, push jerk, and going through the movements then in my very, very quiet living room. So it was different. That was the last one that I did actually. So that was that. Now, yeah, so that's 5 years ago. So I had the option of obviously doing the L2 or the L3, and I think I'd like to think. So I did all the maths when I was in the summertime this year, looking back at well, summertime, like a couple of months ago, looking back at coaching hours over the last 13 years. And even with the COVID shutdowns, I'm now close to 21,000 hours of coaching class environment. Then plus on top of that, PT. So I think I've got enough practical experience to match what we're after for the L3. Now the challenging bit here is trying to unlearn a lot of what a lot of interpretation of CrossFit that I've put in over the last 5 years. Because obviously we interpret it very differently each gym. Going back to these materials and having a look at it and the journal, it really does help remind you about the purity, the logic, the critical thinking, and the necessity for clarity with what we offer and what we do. Now, yeah, any limitations? So not really. There's an underlying caution, I guess, with everything that I do that I didn't have before. Handstand push-ups just aren't on the agenda anymore. I don't feel the need for them. Putting your whole body weight down through your neck isn't ideal for a neck replace. It was an ACDR, so anterior cervical disc replacement, ACDR. So they go in the front, they basically crowbar everything out of the way, they go directly to the thing, they scoop out the old disc material, the squidgy stuff, and then they pop in an artificial one with 2 titanium clamps on each of the vertebrae. And then they slide in a disc and it just closes up. I'm aware of the vulnerability. So that's the only limitation, really. I can still handstand walk for about 5-6 meters, so whatever feet that is, 15 feet, if push comes to shove. But Again, I'm very aware. So posturally, I will make sure that I'm tucked when I'm pressing through. I don't do that anymore. And I'm also very aware, actually, if anything, it's maybe a better coach. I focus a lot on postural awareness throughout the cervical spine, for people, especially like deadlifts. You see it, obviously, it's coming from a powerlifting coach as well. Um, you see a lot of people pushing through the floor for a deadlift and they've got their neck up. Now, what we're after is a tucked neutral spine. We don't want that neck up here. It puts in insane amount of pressure through the cervical spine, we don't need. But yeah, no limitations really, other than handstand push-ups. And again, even before I had the neck go, I didn't really see the value and the purpose of them. For me, for general population, I don't see it. But you know, I appreciate where CrossFit comes from with them. Yeah, I went to California. It was talk about age, but yeah. So Boz took my L1 in Sweden. Good lad. Yeah, it hurt before. I've got a video somewhere of me trying to bench press a 20-kilo bar, so 45-pound bar, and my left arm just wouldn't go up. There was the nerve from there down through into here. Just didn't work very well. So it withered a little bit. So my trap, my delts, my pec, my tricep all sort of withered. So yeah, we'll see. Sorry, I'm just getting just messaging my partner in crime. So here's the deal, guys. I'll be honest. No, I won't. I won't tell you yet. So my neck, my back. So getting back to the subject was the best gym ever. Now, the reason I've been thinking about this is because a couple of reasons, really. Well, obviously, it's the obvious question that everyone talks about sometimes, but the new brand assets and the ads that came out, they were cool. We all saw them, we all loved them, and they continue to come out. So we had the culture one yesterday that everyone's raving about and liking. I totally get where it's coming from. I totally see it. I totally understand. And I agree to an extent. And I love the name Colt and the way that they've played on the word and everything like that. I totally get it. But we have to be careful with dismissing the word culture and, community. It's still an important word and it's still part of what we do. I'm a little bit concerned with people unable to discern between where they mean we want to use culture rather than community. Like a lot of the ads, they're nuanced. They're almost positioned for people that already know CrossFit to go, yeah, that's us, rather than recruitment. So these ones I don't feel are like a big recruitment tool. Now they might be positioned that way, and they might draw in a certain group. But one video that I saw on my research, where is it? Right, I think. Right, okay. I'm going to play a video here if I can. Let's see. Right, I'm going to see if I can play this. Let's have a look. Just let me know if you can't hear it. I want you to listen to the. Have a look. screen. Cool. Right. Let me know if you can hear this or not.
Some of it is just the name of your gym, right?
Sure.
If you have an aggressive name, something that's scary, the 99% of the participants that are interested in CrossFit, that's a big barrier. So if it's, CrossFit, you're going to get hurt, or CrossFit, this is death, or whatever, CrossFit death. That's like, holy God, I have no business going in this place.
We're cautioning people to think wisely when choosing. No, because I completely agree.
Yeah, I think the biggest barrier to entry nowadays is that first impression,
that image. Yeah.
So they then there's another video that comes after that about first impression. It's called First Impressions, and those videos, that's Matt Chan and a group of the kind of older school CrossFit coaches and seminar staff and L4s and blah blah blah. That's 2016, and that series of videos is the affiliate roundup. And the whole time that video is running, I'm aware that that's 9 years ago. Now, we talk about not my opinion, I'm reiterating what people have said online recently, the watering down, the whole happiness piece with being a CrossFit gym. I'm conflicted here, and I'll tell you why. The next video that came up, First Impressions, I'm going to play that. I'm sorry if this is boring you. Well, I'm not sorry. You can click away if you like. But there's a really good point coming up in a minute. This one. So let's have a look. And listening, I think I've got it at the right place.
See how far we've come, because
Right.
like Matt said, there were some very unsafe bathrooms for a very long time. I know CrossFit 801 was one of them, and but nowadays it's the truth. It's where we're at.
I don't think there's a time gap for that. I really don't.
What do you mean by
It's
that?
the same exact message that I heard on videos I was watching, like work for excellence and keep your bathroom clean. Like it's the same message.
Always been there,
right?
yeah.
So it's just who took that seriously to spread it to every part of their business, and I think Nicole is a great example of that. Like having, it doesn't matter whether it's step one, day one, 2009, or whether it's 2016. It's the same.
Still, the goal is excellence,
Yeah.
and you're totally right. There's journal articles from Greg that
He
go,
said
and
that way back in the day.
videos that go way
clean.
back. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, even though like people were able to open them easier before with less money and them not being as clean, and people would come because the program works.
Yeah.
Now just the program working isn't enough.
So one of these videos, I thought I had it then, but I haven't clearly. In one of those videos, I won't go through them all. They talk about the industry changing. They talk about originally we could just attract the fire breathers, and we can't rely on the programming working anymore. We have to move on from relying on that. And I'm conflicted because they're sort of indirect opposition to each other when we think about this is 2016. And this may well be the point where things start to shift towards where we found ourselves this year and last year. The message that we're giving out online in the adverts and recruiting is recruiting from a much broader base of people that we want to attract. And in that video, they're talking about this at the end. The end of that conversation is you aim for excellence and you keep your bathrooms clean. They're the two principles, and Greg kind of clocked onto that very early. We need We need to be professional. We need to have broad appeal. And the whole "it's for anyone, not everyone" is so damn true. But we need to give anyone the opportunity to come in. Now, when we recruit, when we advertise, we're recruiting people that we want to turn into CrossFitters, that we want to give a good work ethic, that we want to talk about nutrition, that we want to perfect their movement quality, that we want to be part of our culture. They're not ready-made already. They're not that way before they come to us. So, and that's what those videos are all saying. They're all saying that the people in the market now, it's not 2008. Then it was 2016, right? So they are closer to 2008 than we are to them, right? So it's 9 years since then. So it's changed even further. So the people that the net that we're having to throw out is bigger. Sorry, no. The waters that we're fishing in is bigger, but the net we're throwing out is the same net, right? We don't want to change what we're doing, but we have to fish in the right waters, right? We have to go into the right patches of the water to attract different types of people. We should be fucking proud of the culture that we have and the underlying foundation of everything, which is the L1 document, and our coaches and our trainers being world class. But first impressions and how people view CrossFit, it doesn't have to be black or white. It doesn't have to be all about happiness and softy and like no scores don't matter. And on the other side, it doesn't have to be real gritty. I'm covered in chalk, my shirt's off, I'm snatching, I'm doing muscle ups and I've got abs, and fuck you if you don't like it. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Which is what I'm really looking forward to with the assets and the marketing as we go forward with this. I'm going to pause 1 sec. I'm just going to have a quick looky-hooky at something. 1 moment, please. Right. Okay. Forget that. So, oh, no, hang on. I'm going to get rid of that one. Okay. So anyway, best gym. What makes a good gym? In your opinion, guys, what makes a good gym? What is it about a gym that makes it special? I've got a couple of examples of one thing that makes a good gym. So I want to show you a couple of examples of gyms. And the criteria here from being a good gym is the way that it looks. Now, if you walked into a gym and this is what you saw, it's moved now. This was a CrossFit box in the UK in Exmouth, which is in the south. They'd converted an old church, rig in the middle, everything around the sides. Now that's pretty cool. If you walked in and that was available, that was your gym, you'd be pretty damn proud of that, right? Now that's one criteria, the way that it looks, right? And another one, I'm going to show you this one as well, because it's one of my favorites. I don't know how close this is going to be. Don't know if you can see it. No, that one, remove. So remember, yeah, equipment. So I guess that comes down to the actual appearance here. So don't know how well you can see that. So this is CrossFit Calithia, which is in just on the outskirts of Athens. I am obsessed with that wall. I had the lads on from Calithia. I'm going to try and find an indoor shot. Now, of course, it's Athens, so it's really cool anyway. So that background, they're the handstand push-ups, they're the perspex, and that wall. Imagine, like, think about working out in a gym like that. Just the physical appearance of the gym, right? And by the way, these guys own the Athens Throwdown, which is the biggest, has been the biggest CrossFit competition, most attended in Europe. And then you've got this one. Which is in Monte Carlo. So you think of Monaco, you think of the F1. This box is in Monte Carlo and it is flash. It is pretty damn cool. It's got all the gizmos. It's brand new. It opened about 4 months ago. They've got pretty much all the equipment you need, right? So appearances and equipment. That's one element that could potentially define a good gym. So what equipment they've got. Yeah, me too. So let's do a thought experiment, right? So the best CrossFit gym in the world, what would it look like? Okay, you'd have a really good experience. They'd have an insane website. Booking on would be easy. You communicating exceptionally well, or your communication exceptionally well. You turn up, car park, big car park, very well presented, easy to find. You walk in, you're greeted. That's all before you actually do anything. Now, one of the things I'm going to ask for Kundo later, or in a bit, we'll see. Greg Sneaper, yeah, I'm waiting to see that. Do coaches and affiliate owners do a couple of things? Do they do an induction process? Do they understand the needs of the many, not the few? And the big one for me, and one that is very uncommon, is the base of the pyramid. Boosh. Nutrition. The nutrition, the foundation of it all. And in learning all this education piece that I've been doing recently, and the research and the education, I've been reminded how fucking what a big part of CrossFit it was or should be. Now, how many boxes these days act like an examination room for how well you've fueled? And by that, I mean, let's take CrossFit as a nutrition protocol. That you put into practice when you're at the gym. How many CrossFit trainers at the gyms exemplify good nutrition? How many of them eat well in front of their clients? How many of them focus on nutrition as a broad basis for everything that we do at the Yeah, at the front line. And that's been a wake-up call for me. You can't, how can you expect your members to reach optimal health and performance if they're learning bad habits from the trainers and the coaches at the gym, if there's no direction there, if there's no focus on it, there's no continued education for the trainers on nutrition? It is the damn foundation of everything that we do. And probably why, and I'm beginning to see this, probably why the demand for Netflix was where the idea came from. And I'm starting to understand some of the, maybe not the language, maybe not the intent, but the idea behind Netflix really does become more and more apparent the more you go back and you read and understand the methodology of CrossFit, because it's so pivotal, the nutrition. And the methodology and CrossFit HQ hasn't changed its stance there. It's still the same fucking thing. It's still all there. And that video I played a minute ago, Mrs. Chan, she's saying that. She's saying from 2008 to 2016 to today to 2025, that hasn't fucking changed. It's still the same message. We're still preaching the same message. But how many people are preaching it at the affiliate level? HQ hasn't changed their stance on all of that. None of it. All the trainers that have done their L1, the L1 hasn't changed. It's still the same. Trust me, I've downloaded it and fucking printed it again and again and again. There might be the odd throw in of the word happiness in there, which I'm not sure should be in there. But this all relates to this idea that CrossFit, the HQ's changed. The personnel might have. But the actual thing of CrossFit, the actual thing, right? That hasn't changed. No one's forced to change upon anyone. So if you found at your gym that you're not talking about nutrition, that metabolic conditioning isn't a priority initially, that you're not gradually introducing options for weightlifting, gymnastics, throwing, that you're not deprioritizing sport as a short-term goal for people so that they work towards quality movement, and we're not following that route of MCI, we're encouraging bad behaviors, we're not talking to people about nutrition. It's unfortunately you that's changed. It's not CrossFit. And there's a big difference between that and what HQ can do for us. They can't really do much for us any more than they've already done with all the content in terms of for learning and education as a trainer. How many times in the fitness industry do we see people reinterpreting something or asking for a, saying that's old, or reinventing the wheel, or coming up with some newfangled way of doing something? Yeah. The other 23 hours of the day. That should be, if anyone wants a fucking business idea or a podcast or a channel or an ebook or whatever. The other 23, right? Call it the other 23. Talk about everything else there is except that 1 hour where we've got you in the gym where we can do our jobs if we're doing it properly. Didn't matter. Turn it. Yeah. So there's another thing, right? And this is one of my questions for Facundo later. Why is it so many of the old school CrossFitters have moved away from CrossFit and have reinterpreted it or reimagined it in a niche perspective? Does it purely come down to money? Is there motivation there? Have they found a flaw in it? If they have, why can't anyone articulate that flaw? Why can't they tell us what they're seeing doesn't work? I think I know why. Because it does work. And I think for me, what we need to see is an articulation of the people that are moving away to communicate their grievances towards a particular part of being CrossFit rather than the methodology. That's the problem that the gyms have faced, is that when you see big names turning their back on the whole thing, you begin to question the whole thing. Now, I'm not a super businessman. I'm not claiming to know everything or much about all of this. But you've got, and there's a, you'll have to excuse me. I was busy elsewhere. There seems to be a point of maturation for it might be maturation, it might be saturation. I'm not sure. But the people that have moved away that are in the limelight, they're all ex-athletes. They're all ex-athletes that happened to be also seminar staff, coaches, affiliate owners, programmers. What do they know that we don't? What flaws do they see in all of this that we can't? Because I'd like to know, because there's a lot of people out in the world that are part of this culture, that love it and breathe it every day, and it's become their identity. It's the only thing they talk about. It's what gets them up in the morning. It's what the last thing they think about at night. It's what they pay thousands of dollars or pounds or euros or whatever to go and do courses on. Is their life. My kids have been brought up in CrossFit gyms, and they will do what it is. So we have to be very careful about this thing that we hold. I don't see it at the front line. I don't see the problems. I'd like to find out more about what they are. Is it where we are introducing politics and this razzmatazz of everything that goes on and potential earnings and the games discussion and these superstars that have come out of it? Is it when we involve that into the picture that the problems arise? Or are they the ones that are actually trying to do us a solid? I don't know. I don't know. Something for me to ponder. But what I will tell you is that I've become obsessed with learning again. The journal, the certification process, all of that. It's been a massive jump for me the last few weeks. And if any of the coaches or trainers out there have forgotten what it felt like to learn again, encourage you just to go back to the journal, even if it's for an hour, and just look up a piece and do that. You don't even have to be anyone. How many members know that all this stuff's available? Probably not many. Now, I asked a question yesterday. It didn't get read out, but I asked a question. And I understand the implication here. The implication is that the box owners can't do it or won't do it. Okay. That's the caveat to this question. But if you're an affiliate owner, would you value a seminar staff member if you could pay them to come to your gym and for a day run a members L1, a masterclass? Siobhan and Matt and people are talking about, and Greg were talking about the old seminar staff, how amazing they were. And Nicole was talking about it on one of the videos that I watched. The seminar staff should be the rock stars. They should be the ones that we're like, wow, they are front page, right? Now, if we want to keep them up there, if we want to value them, is there an opportunity for them to visit boxes, be paid by the box, even if it's just to cover the cost and the members contribute a little bit? Call it expensive, travel and $500, right? For a red shirt seminar staff member to come to the gym and to give a 1-day seminar for the members of pure CrossFit as per the seminar. And they don't necessarily have to get a certificate or a badge or whatever the fuck. That experience alone. And how many L1s do you think CrossFit would gain out of that? How many, if you get 50 members coming to that, which I'm sure you could gather, how many of those would then be inspired enough to go and take their L1? I think there's a route there. That's not the finished article or the by any means. But I really do feel there's another role. We've held the seminar staff back from the public. They don't know what it is until they do their L1, which is a cool concept. But I really feel that those people can have a big impact at the affiliate level as well. Not just the country managers having to bloody scour the areas and doing one drop in a box every 5 years. I really think they're an untapped source of information and rejuvenation. And like I said at the offset, I think it does come with the implication there that the box owner doesn't do that or can't do it. But of course, they're not seminar staff and they're not neutral. So yeah, that was an idea that I quite like. So what makes the best gyms? Many see the tip of the spear and think there was no way I can do those. The balance between we do hard things and scaling. Yeah, so scaling's a big deal, right? And effective scaling. Scaling ain't failing. That was what we used to say. And I still say it. I still scale all the fucking time to meet the stimulus. And again, we talked about this the other day. As a coach, are you briefing effectively? Does everyone in that class, by 5 minutes on the clock, understand the assignment? Do they know what they should be doing today? Do they know the intent? Do they know why we're doing what we're doing? Because then they can make an informed decision, which we learn over time, like many things being a CrossFitter. You learn how to adjust, how to scale. You see it as that. Hello. Morning row. Wow. Okay. Nice. I'm more of a skier myself, Jody. Because of my knees. But yeah. It's down to first impressions. It's down to interpretation by the gyms. And my point earlier about the ads and those old videos from 2016 is on those videos. And what I'll do, I'll post a link to them on my stories. So you can have a look yourself and listen in. There's about, how many are there? There's probably that's a 14-part series. The videos are only 4 minutes long, right? So we are the product, running a better business, impressions, processing practices, nutrition. There's a whole list of 14 of these. They're only 4 minutes long. But the fact that this was nearly 10 years ago, it does say a lot because the message is clear from these videos, but it seems like it was a tipping point coming from CrossFit and the messages that we were putting out there. They're starting to discuss about the broader horizon of people that we want to attract. And we can't all attract the fire breathers. We can't just get 30 million people doing CrossFit globally that are all fire breathers, at least at the start. And I can see where that pattern went then. I can start to see how we got to the point where we had happiness and health as the motive in the ads. I can see where that came from. Because the discussion here in these videos nearly 10 years ago is that the marketplace isn't that anymore. And now, 10 years later, the ads are trying to draw it back towards that. So it's going to be an interesting point here for the next year. Now, I'm happy, and I think the 2026 Open will be one of our best. I really do feel that in my loins. And we have the power to make it that way if we get the direction and the purpose right. So we've all got a role to play here. And that's the thing that we forget. What happens if you aren't happy? Do you mean me, or do you mean people in CrossFit? Every single person that calls themselves a CrossFitter has a role to play in CrossFit. You don't get to just show up and do your workout and class yourself as a CrossFitter. You're in, I'm afraid. You're part of it. You're part of this cult. We talk about accountability all the time. Getting your name up on the board, showing up, being accountable to your group, to your community, which we're not allowed to say anymore, but I'm going to say it anyway, to your group of people, your community that you are part of. But where's the accountability in ensuring that what we have is special and maintained? As a member, you're doing your part by effectively doing our program. That's your part. Being accountable and dedicating it to the methodology. That's what you can do. You can show up. And you can show up properly. You can listen to the briefing. You can nail it. You can scale. You can help other people. You can put your bloody plates away when you're finished. You can mop the floor with all your sweat when you're done. You can contribute. All the staff members at the gyms, we all know our role, but do we do it effectively? Are we accountable to that culture? Do we help our members to be the best they can? Do we enforce scaling options on them when they're being Mr. Billy Bollocks? Do we want the best for people? Do we pick the right music? Do we show up on time? Do we help tidy up at the end? Do we give high fives? Do we say well done? Do we check in on people? Do we get them back in the gym? Do we ring them when we haven't seen them for a week? Do we do all that? That's the job of the staff at the gym. Now, the affiliate owner, for me, a lot of this responsibility, accountability, and culture lies there. And I'll come to that in a minute. My OG CrossFit coaches conducted class driving a Diet Coke. Right. Drinking a Diet Coke, but fisted encouraged my love for CrossFit. So he was forgiven for that. Yeah. Now, don't worry, Jodie, don't worry. I know what you mean. There's a gold star with all of this. There's a gold star. There's a North Star. There's a fucking straight line with everything. A to B, straight line. Now, we all have a responsibility to stay as close to that line as we can. Oh, yeah, exactly. We've all got a responsibility to stay as close to that line as we can with everything in our lives, right? Whether it's being a good partner to your spouse, whether it's being a good employee at work, whether it's being a good fucking parent, whether it's driving our car correctly, right? Our nutrition, big part of it. Every single role or direction that you have in your life, there is a North Star. There's a direct route from A to B. We're never going to fucking be perfect. We're never going to keep on that line forever. You're going to deviate away. Your job, being accountable, is acknowledging where you're veering away and stop it in its tracks and kind of come back to that line as often as you can. That's ultimately what accountability is. And people find different ways to do that and in their different parts of their life. I was putting off doing the L3 for a long time. Didn't think for whatever reason I should do it at some point. I thought I don't need to do it. Is it necessary? What does it give me? Am I good enough to do it? Fear of failing it. But I've got to be accountable. I want the best for this community and this culture that we have. And if we can get as many people onto that path of doing and becoming a trainer, I know so many level 3s or CrossFit level 3s. And every single one of them has this trait. And I love that. And I want that. And there's a barrier of entry, which is fucking high, by the way, right? And listen, if you were really academic at school and you can just learn shit and sit down for hours at a time and that doesn't bother you and you can absorb all this information and you can relay it onto a bit of paper and you can pass the test, that's just the nature of examinations, written exams. And I'm sure there's a role for you at gyms like that. But the best trainers, the best coaches that we have in CrossFit they're not shying away from coaching. They're not hiding behind a desk. And those trainers are the ones that lead the way. And after fucking 13 years of coaching CrossFit, I need to be held accountable to that culture. And I need to do that to be accountable to them. And that's why the L3 is so bloody important. Anyway, now, of course, there's going to be members that don't really want that. Of course there are. So here's a question then. Here's a hypothetical. Who's more CrossFit? A lazy, unhealthy, excuse-filled new member at a gym, at a CrossFit box, that turns up, or a CrossFit Games athlete that never trains as part of a box in classes, doesn't have an L1 or an L2, and is just earning money from the sport. Now, they are two very, very extreme examples. But my pushback with, and look, I get all the nuances. I get that we needed a broad stroke. I get that we needed a message. I get that we needed something punchy. I get something that needed to swing the pendulum back the other way. I do get all of that. I really do. My only reservation and pushback from these ads, now that I've had time to really stew on it, is the associated rhetoric that came with the fuck yous, that fuck the system. We don't want, it's the associated messaging that came after them. The people saying, we don't want, this isn't for everyone. We know that it's for anyone, not everyone. But when, I said this earlier, we forge elite fitness. We forge it. We don't take it. We forge it. We make it. And we have to make it from something. People don't walk in as CrossFitters. They walk in as non-CrossFitters. And we turn them into CrossFitters. That's the nature of what we do. So our ads and our messaging and the fuck yous and everything, is that going to attract the people that we can change into CrossFitters? And I'm not saying this is an easy job by any means. I'm not in marketing. I'm not in production of all that stuff. I'm just discussing it. And I hopefully someone completely kicks my ass in this conversation and tells me that I'm completely wrong and justifies it and can give me a good enough answer. But the type of people that I want walking in the door at CrossFit gyms are the uncut diamond. To quote Aladdin, the diamond in the rough. We want people that are going to have to be challenged to become CrossFitters. We want to make them into CrossFitters. We want them to be held accountable every fucking day. We want to talk to them about nutrition. We want to talk to them about how life-changing this is going to be. They're not going to walk in ready-made. We're forging them. And if the affiliates aren't good enough to do that, it's on the affiliate owner. It's not on CrossFit. CrossFit have done everything that they can in terms of setting the bar, setting the methodology, setting the routine, setting the principles of everything. The interpretation is where that is. Now, in my world, I would love for more people that don't look, sound, act, behave like CrossFitters, like we do now. I would love for more of them to walk in the gym because we get to transform them. But we need to get them in the gym first. And that video I showed earlier, the first impressions one, if your first impression isn't right, you will not be attracting those people. And we don't want the whole, yay, happy, scores don't matter, get sweaty, F45 adverts. We don't want that. That's not us. But in my mind as well, the type of people that we do want won't necessarily respond too well to seeing fuck you, fuck the system, this isn't for everyone, games athletes on the posters. That might inspire some people. That might inspire the people that are already halfway there. But I tell you now, it will not inspire the people that are still in the sickness area. It will not inspire the people that we need to help the most. And others might say, well, they need to get up to a certain point to then change to realize we are where we're at and they can come to us. But how often do we say you don't have to be fit to start CrossFit? There's a lot of nuance with all of this. And what I would love to see is all the affiliates taking all of this messaging and interpret it to their market that they feel they need in their gym. Now, if you're a Proven or an HWPO or a Mayhem competition track, you're probably going to have a different target audience and advert campaign than affiliates do. And I feel like somewhere along the way, the affiliates have tried using the same stuff that they have, using their elites to advertise. And I hear so many people, including Savant, including everyone on the shows, say they bring in the most amount of people, that they're the most inspirational people. I just don't share that feeling. I don't share that sentiment. Because there's many, many, many different markets, many different types of people that we can attract. We can't hold on to the fire breather market. And that video from 2016 says it. Yeah. Right. Enough about that. I haven't drunk anywhere near half my coffee. So should we have a look at who Savon's got on this week? We have got well, Colton Mertens is on today. So Colton's on at the usual time. Chris Cooper's on tomorrow. Then Corey Belmore, Charlie Lawrence, and Greg on the 3rd. Jack Della Maddalena. Maddalena. And then Tim Card. Names I haven't heard before. Excellent. Right, where are we? Chad. You have to have the fiber attitude or the culture isn't right. Well, it has to exist in your gym and it has to be part of it. But I'm not convinced that that's the appealing part. We don't advertise that for everyone. It's part of what we do. But down across it when we start to see boot camp classes popping up within boxes. Yeah. Which is why people have to be really fucking careful about the High Rocks classes. We've got a big influx of non-Christians of soft people, and they change the culture within the gym instead of the gym changing. Yeah. But Chad, I'll be honest, like I said all along, that is down to the affiliate owner. It's down to the culture that you have at your gym. It's how within the four walls of your gym, that's where you set the precedence. And also, I've heard it before and I've done it before. You don't have to accept every member. If a member wants to be part of your culture, you sort of have to do an interview process as well with them. You have to judge whether or not they're going to be good for you, and you have to rely on that. I've turned away people before. I've said, this isn't for you. Our gym's not for you. Here's one down the road. Give them their phone number. They're really good down there. They'll be what you need. Easy. Easy system in place. You just got to have those hard conversations. And the whole soft people thing, we at least have to give them the chance to harden up. Because we forge elite fitness. We aren't given it. We make it out of what we're given, right? That's the whole forging thing. Now, other places, and I'm going to coin this term, other places are a forgery of elite fitness. We actually forge it. You get a lot of people pretending. And listen, every village, every town, every city, every region, every state, every county, every country, every region is going to have a completely different market they're working with. Totally different culture. It's the same reason the Soviets and the Chinese, most of the communist states, produced insane gymnasts and weightlifters. Culturally, that militant style worked for them. Now, if your gym wants to produce games athletes, then yeah, fire breathers. But if your gym truly wants to forge elite fitness by the methodology and change lives. Make those people, those soft people, into hard people that are resilient. We need to do that. We need to be able to do that. HQs get massive here. Think of how many people open up affiliates based on the bootcamp site. Yeah. The pendulum has swung the other way, for sure. That's what I said. But as I said, yeah, they have to reset. They have to do a control alt delete. They have to reset and reform. But my concern here, or it's not a concern. I mean, I'm not affiliate owner, right? This is just observations and you know, my thoughts. How many affiliates out there are going to take this to the extreme because they're just taking what HQ have done and they run with it and they go too far down the other route and they alienate people that were on the verge or were going to join that potentially could have been losing £100, could be becoming the next, in 5 years' time, becoming the next gym star that's done the best and gets all the awards at the Christmas party for having been the best part of our gym. How many of those people that were going to do that have been put off or will be put off if the gyms can't navigate the nuance of those brand assets? Because believe it or not, Chad, you might be at an incredible gym that nailed all of this, but there are so many affiliates that are awful at advertising and marketing. Chad, I get the feeling that have you read David Goggins' book 7 times this year? Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, Chad, a lot of people do not respond very well to being told, pardon up, fuck you, you're an ant, I'll stand on you. They don't respond very well to that. And we talk about you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. I'm a firm believer in it's how you lead the horse to water. We need to do a better job of getting people into the gym. And again, this goes with what you're saying. We're doing CrossFit are trying to do a better job of recruiting new members. They need to do a better job, and they are trying, which is, I applaud Jenna and the team, and I love what they've done. It's not a knock at all. It will attract certain groups of people, which is great. And certain gyms around the globe are punching the air. They're happy. They're going to get 10 new members from this. But I'm not entirely convinced that we'll get as many of the desperate people that we need to help the most with that type of advert. That's basically what I'm saying here. We can't just go full-blown military dad, making his kids do burpees when they're talk out of line. We can't, people aren't that inclined yet, and it doesn't work for everyone. There is a place for being a bit soft, we can't be too harsh all the time. We do have to have a little bit of empathy and meet people where they're at. And that's the true artistry of owning a gym. Yeah, word of mouth still to this day. And word of mouth relies on the culture at the gym, doesn't it? If you're a coach that makes people do burpees because they're late, if you're a coach that's walking around with a Coke can in your hand, if you're a coach that finishes rolling around the floor sweaty, stands up, and then wipes his eyebrows and then starts the next class coaching, if you're one of them, you're not setting the culture very well. You're not. the culture is kind, but it's caring. We've got to navigate between being assertive and accountable and being kind. We have to be kind as coaches. Now, I say this to my kids all the time. Kindness is not nice. It's not being nice. There's a big old difference between nice people and kind people. And anyone that's got kids in this chat or watching this is going to know potentially the dads more than the mums if you're from a classic sort of family unit. And I'm very, very lucky here that I get to talk to my wife about this. And one of the things I love about her so much is that she understands our roles and she admires the dad in the family, the role of the dad. I hate having to be the bad guy. I hate having to be the authoritarian. I hate having to be the bad cop a lot of the time. I hate having to be cruel to be kind sometimes. I don't like it, but it is fucking necessary. The two people, soon to be three, the two people in my life that I want nothing more than to be all over them, giving them everything that they want. There's only two people beside my wife that I want to do that to. I want them to be the fucking happiest people in the world. I just want to be nice and give them things and let them, I just want them to have an incredible time. But they're the only two people in life that I have to be hard on all the time, that I have to come down on hard, that I have to be cruel to be kind. They're the only two people. Everyone else is periphery. Everyone at work, the rest of my family members, the people in the high street. And that is the toughest part of being a dad. And all the dads out there know this, know what I'm talking about. And coming back to my wife, she understands that. Just like I understand her role and how hard that is. Putting on that dad hat is shit sometimes, isn't it? It's really tough, but it's necessary. So, Chad, when we talk about coaching, although very different in some respects, we're looking to care and to be kind. I'm not too interested in being nice to my members, to my clients, to the people that I work with. Being nice isn't really something I think about too much. But I give a shit and I want the best for them. So I do what I can and I use the materials that we have and I use the intent and I use my communication to make sure that they understand that I give a shit about what they're doing. Now, do the affiliate marketing teams, all the affiliates, do the affiliates marketing? Does that go a direction to show potential members that could be at your gym that you care? Or is the agenda just, look how tough we are? Because that's the nuance that we need to navigate. Of course we can be harsh. Of course we can be hard and tough. Of course we can do that. We're all capable of doing that. But is it always necessary? Does caring and kindness always have to look like the opposite of soft. Because one of my favorite things with the kids is when we've had a good day and we just sit back and we cuddle. That's not being hard. That's not being challenging. That's enjoying the relationship that you've built through care and kindness. So, and again, I do love the adverts. I like where we've coming from, and I understand that reset button needed to be done. I'm just very optimistic, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops, and I'm looking forward to how it leads us into the future with all of this stuff. And doing all of the reading up and on the CrossFit stuff on the journal has really got me thinking about this hard. Yeah. Jodie, I'm just going to carry on having babies. I just have a baby every sort of 5-6 years. There we go. That's me sorted. I'll just carry on doing that. Well, I'll try anyway. See how long that goes for. But anyway, oh, blimey. My wife is 22 weeks pregnant. Felt it, can feel it kicking now. Bang, up against it. Yeah. Funny old year ahead, isn't it? I reckon 26 is going to be an amazing year, you know, not just for CrossFit, but just in life. Good. Right. My big list of shit to talk about is done. Now I've got to go and train and try and resolve this issue that we've got. No, I'm going to just delete that. Right. Good. Big list of shit to do. I say a big list. There's like 4 things and it's all related. Right. So I'm going to be on hopefully later on with Yoni Boy with Facundo on the Glint Things channel. And that is in 6 hours. So in 6 hours time, we'll be on with Facundo, hopefully talking to him about an array of things. So hopefully you're there for that. And then Sunday, I'm on Sunday morning. Trying to get a guest on for that. And then we'll go from there. Lovely. Right. Yosef, you are more than welcome. Thank you for joining me on your bike ride. I've got to go and train now. I'm supposed to be doing some aerobic work, some steady state. So what I might do, might put the old headphones on, listen to another show from last night. We'll see how we go with that. I think the barbell spin had a bit of discussion going on, so I might listen there. Although to be no, I should be doing L3 work, shouldn't I? I should listen to videos. Right, I'll do that. Good. Right. All right, guys, hang on. Don't know why I did that. Have a lovely morning for you, Americans. Remember to be accountable. Remember to think about, what can I do for this culture? What can I be doing? Because you play a big part. We all do. We're all doing our part for this. Right. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have a lovely afternoon, and I will see you a bit later on. Bye for now.